Excellency, Mr. Sergey Kuznetsov, Counselor and Deputy Chief of Mission of Russian Federation Relations. Mr. Paul Changu, Chairperson of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, Paswan. Dr. Aman Mohammed, Director of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. Educators and dear students. Good morning. On behalf of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center and the Russian Embassy, it is both a pleasure and a privilege to welcome you to today's lecture entitled Climate Change, Ecosystem Restoration, and Species Reintroduction, Moving from Theory to Practice. To be delivered by the distinguished Russian scientist Dr. Anton. We are also gathered for the opening ceremony of the exhibition on the Goethe, organized to commemorate the Russian Science Day. For over 2 decades, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center has been committed to promoting science and technology among all segments of the population. The center continues to play a pivotal role in supporting science education in school and fostering scientific curiosity among young learners. We are deeply grateful to our chairperson, Mr. Paul Changu, spearheading numerous innovative initiatives in line with the center's strategic vision. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Paul Changu, chairperson of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, Paswan, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. Changu, please.
Deputy Chief of Mission of the Embassy of Russia in Mauritius, diplomats from the Russian Embassy, Director of Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, Dr. Munu, distinguished guests of the scientific community, educators, students, online members, and members of the press. Very good morning to you all. It is a pleasure for me, as chairman of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, to say a few words on the occasion of this online lecture on climate change, held as a part of the Russian Science Day. The invitation and participants around such an important topic. Today, climate change is no longer something we only read about in scientific reports. We can see its effects around us in changing weather patterns, damaged ecosystems, loss of biodiversity, and growing pressure on natural resources. Science is therefore not only about gaining knowledge, but also about helping us to protect our planet and plan responsibly for our future. This is why the focus on moving from theory to practice is so important. Research and are essential, but real progress happens when knowledge is put into action by restoring damaged ecosystems, protecting habitats, and where appropriate, reintroducing species. This work needs good science, strong cooperation, and long-term commitment from institutions and communities. Ecosystem restoration gives us hope. It shows that nature can recover if we act wisely. Forests can be rebuilt, wetlands can be restored, species can return. But success depends not only on scientists, it also depends on public awareness and support. I am especially pleased that this lecture will be followed by an exhibition inspired by the painting The Dodo. The dodo is a powerful symbol of extinction and reminds us how easily biodiversity can be lost. Using art alongside science helps people connect emotionally with environmental issues and why it must be protected. Better scientific understanding leads to better decisions. Events like today also show the value of international cooperation. Environmental challenges are global and progress is I congratulate the organizers and thank the speakers for their valuable contributions. I wish you all a very engaging lecture and a meaningful exhibition visit. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Chambu, for your inspiring address and for your continued leadership and support. Ladies and gentlemen, the collaboration between the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center and FMF is a value of international cooperation in advancing scientific knowledge and strengthening cultural ties. Enriching and inspiring experience, especially for our educators and students. We hope it will motivate the new generation to pursue careers in science, technology. Excellency, Mr. Sergey Kuznetsov, Counselor and Deputy Chief of Mission of the Russian Federation in Mauritius, to deliver the address. Sir, the floor is yours.
Is influence. Today, the main event is the online lecture by Russian scientist Dr. Anton. He will speak about climate change and even the idea of bringing back extinct species. As a symbolic connection to his lecture, we have organized a small exhibition about the dodo, a bird that once lived here in Mauritius. And it reminds us how fragile nature is. You can see it behind my back, in the middle, it's our star. Today, we remember
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your valuable work. Gentlemen, despite the thousands of Anton is a distinguished Russian environmental. But with Russian serve as vice rector for research and innovation at Murmansk Art University. The Himalayas, Central America, project aimed at building one of the largest natural observation networks to assess the impact of climate change. The scientific interest extends throughout his career. He has received several prestigious distinctions, including the Excellent Nature Conservationist Badge, the For Loyalty to Science Award, and the Crystal Compass Award. Now, the Anton to deliver his lecture. Dr. Yomanov, the floor is yours.
Presentation. Dear colleagues, good day, everyone. Greetings from the north of Eurasia, Kolsky Peninsula, Murmansk Arctic University. I want to tell you about climate change, ecosystem restoration, and species reintroduction, moving from theory to practice, tell about our experience of our colleagues in Russia, about European bison, about mammoth, and looking some parallels with dodo. So, where is the climate heading and how does it affect the landscapes around us? How are scientists trying to help nature using algae, plants, and the return of species? We will discuss how bison are being returned to the wild in Europe and the attempts to resurrect the mammoth or dodo. Discussing this topic is important because behind each such project lie fundamental scientific discoveries. Next slide. Thank you. When we talk about climate change, it often seems like a problem only of recent decades, but in really our planet climate has always been changing. Global cooling around 30 million years ago. Okay, just wait a second. С нашей стороны сильно эхо.
But really, our
Just a
planet
second.
has always been.
We'll try again. So, global cooling around 30 million years ago led to a reduction in the range of primates, restricting their distribution to Africa, the Americas, and Southern Asia. And the expansion of savannas in East Africa 21 million years ago created the conditions for transition to bipedalism. The oldest traces of such upright walking left by Australopithecus are 3.6 million years ago. Around 1 million years ago, another important event occurred. Homo erectus learned to control fire, which became the first significant anthropogenic factor impacting landscapes. The campfire provided warmth, scared off predators, and allowed for cooking, but it also enabled them to burn forest areas, gradually changing the landscapes to suit their needs. Finally, let's recall how people arrived in America. Around 22,000 years ago was the peak of last ice age, and the ocean level was lower and the land bridge Beringia existed where the Beringia Strait is now between Russia and Alaska. Across this bridge through okay, just wait a second. Говорят, идет как сдвоение звука. Just wait a second, please.
Across this.
Откуда может быть сдвоение?
Just.
Just small technical issues.
Я вообще сейчас в динамике выпал. Обычно, когда попадается из микрофона, телевизор, микрофон, а телевизор вообще сейчас в динамику выпущен.
Okay, let's try again. If we have the same technical problem, we will try to fix it. Climate change is a natural process that has shaped us and our way of life. So the analysis of current climate change allow us to identify several trends recorded by instrumental observations. So first is a large-scale increase in global temperature. It's rising about 1.2 Celsius relevant to pre-industrial levels, with Arctic warning is 3-4 time. Okay, just wait a second. Okay, just some technical problems. А выключите звук наш. Звук, выключите, пожалуйста, наш звук. Okay, is the sound okay now? Okay, thank you. I think we'll fix it. Thank you very much. About climates. So we have in Arctic 3-4 times faster climate change than in southern districts. In some regions there is an increase in precipitation and more frequent extreme rainfall, while in other is aridification can be observed. In Russia we can see both of this. So the shifts of the boundaries of nature zone is another problem. Climate change initiates the transformation of the landscape shell, and especially in Arctic zone. So Arctic greening, like the big sample when tundra become some forest tundra, and forest tundra becomes forests. Okay. And permafrost degradation. The most significant change are occurring in the permafrost zone. The thawing of permafrost activity, so-called thermokarst process, when permafrost thaws the ground subsides, forecast for Большеземельская tundra will shift northward. The melting of glaciers and snow patches leads the formation of new lakes and increase the risk of outburst floods. Landscapes are not affected by climate change, but themselves an active component of the climate system. Forest landscapes regulate the heat balance on the Earth's surface. Deforestation, desertification, and technogenic transformation intensivity heat fluxes further warming the atmosphere. Ways to adapt to climate change involve implementing measures of greening and irrigating landscapes, restoring above-ground phytomass, and the ecological optimization of land resources. Today, scientists say we have entered a new geological epoch, which they call Anthropocene. This is the time when human activity has become the main force of changing the planets. So let's look what happened. The air we breathe, since 1960, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was increased by 0.011%, and now with concentration 0.042%. This much carbon dioxide was lost in the air 5 million years ago, when there were no humans on the Earth, and it was much warmer. Every year we produce new material. One of this is plastic, and okay, just a second. Возможно, вам нужно выключить ваш микрофон, коллеги. Okay, just a second. So, is it we couldn't turn off more microphone without the hearing? Maybe something on your side about the sound effects. So we produce 291 million tons of plastic materials that simply did not exist in nature before us. Oh, okay, start again. Okay, just a second, please. Now it's good. Fine, we can we can repeat again. No problem. So, okay, let's do it again. Climate change, ecosystem restoration, and species reintroduction, moving from theory to practice. I want to share the main basic information and our experience, even my own researches about climate change using algae, using process about reintroduction European bison. So, where is the climate heating and how does it affect the landscapes around us? How are scientists trying to help nature using algae, plants and the return of extinct species? We will discuss how bison are being returned to the wild in Europe and the attempts to resurrect the mammoth to the dodo. Discussing this topic is important because behind each such project lie fundamental scientific discoveries. When we talk about climate change, it often seems like a problem only of recent decades. But in really, our planet climate has always been changing. For global cooling around 30 million years ago led to a reduction in the range of primates, restricting their distribution to Africa, the Americas, and Southern Asia. And the expansion of savanna in East Africa 21 million years ago created the condition for transition to bipedalism. The oldest traces of such upright walking left by Australopithecus are 3.6 million year old. Around 1 year old, another important event occurred. Homo erectus learned to control fire, which became the first significant anthropogenic factor impacting landscapes. The campfire provided warmth, scared off predators, and allowed for cooking. But it also enabled them to burn forest area, gradually changing the landscapes to suit their needs. Finally, let's recall how people arrived in America. Around 22,000 years ago was the peak of the last ice age. The ocean level was lower and the land bridge Beringia existed when the Beringia Strait is now between Russia and Alaska. Across this bridge, through a harsh cold tundra, the first people crossed from Asia to North America. So climate change is a natural process that has shaped us and our way of life. Analysis of current climate change allows us to identify several persistent trends recovered by instrumental observation. The first is a large-scale increase in global temperature. Over the recent decades, the annual temperature has risen by 1.1, 1.2 Celsius relative to pre-industrial levels. But in Arctic, it's warming 3-4 times faster. Shifts in the boundaries of natural zone, it's actually one of our big problem when forest tundra zone and increase in active temperatures and decrease precipitation are observed. Climate conditions in several areas of the tundra, forest tundra, northern and middle taiga are changing and now correspond to more southern landscape zones. This creates a favorable condition for vegetation change and could lead to a shift landscape zone boundaries to higher latitudes. It's called phenomenon of Arctic greening. Itself, it's documented as last 40 years, the average annual temperature at some Arctic station has risen by almost 8 Celsius. Shrub vegetation is actively advancing into the tundra. And permafrost degradation is one of the dangerous type. The most significant change are occurring in the permafrost zone. The thawing of permafrost activity is so-called thermokarst process when permafrost thaws the ground subsides. Forecast for the Bolshezemelskaya tundra indicate that by 2040, the zone of thermokarst activation will shift the northward. The melting of glaciers and snow patches leads to the formation of new lakes and increased risk of outburst floods. Landscapes are not only affected by climate change, but are themselves an active component of the climate system. Forest landscape regulate the heat balance on the Earth's surface. Deforestation, desertification, and technogenic transformation intensivity heat fluxes further warming the atmosphere. Ways to adapt to climate change involve implementing measures of greening and irrigated landscapes, restoring above ground phytomass, and ecological optimization of land resources. So about Anthropocene. Today, scientists say we have entered a new geological epoch, which they call Anthropocene. This is a time when human activity has become the main force of the changing planet. Let's look how this happened. So about the air. Since 1960, the amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere has increased by 0.11%, and now its concentration is 0.042%. Waste. So we produce new type of material which didn't exist in nature before. For example, it's plastic. Every year we produce 291 million tons of plastic, and they do not decompose in really way. Land, improper plowing and deforestation, it's gathers to soil is eroded and weathered 10 of time faster than in the wild. The global sea level has risen by 17 centimeters because of Arctic and Antarctic ice is getting more and more heat. Due to fertilizer washed from fields into the sea, algae begin grow rapidly and grow dead zones area of the ocean with no fish, no crabs. It's about 400 zones all over our planet. And of course, which we unfortunately can see everywhere, is endangered species. Since 16th century, we know that we going to even exist 872 species of just vertebrate animals. They disappeared from the face of the earth, and they will not come again without our work. And it's just vertebrate animals. We don't know about insects, about plants, and many other type of life systems. So we cannot stop all this process instantly, but we can try to fix what is already broken. And here science offers different paths. Next, we will talk about specific examples and approaches. We will examine two very different cases of extinction, the giant mammoth and the dodo bird. We will learn why this happened and if anything can be fixed. We will also discuss modern attempts and reintroduction and the extinction, using new technologies and surrogate species. So this is my just wait a second. We again have the same problem with sound. Нет. This is my way of research, algology, and using algology in ecosystem processes. In response to observed trends of ecosystem degradation and climate change, various methods for restoring disturbed landscapes are being developed and implemented, including the reclamation of disturbed lands and algology. Algology is an applied field used algae cultivation to solve an environmental problem, including carbon sequestration, wastewater treatment, restoration of aquatic ecosystem, and biomass production. Microalgae have a great potential of photosynthesis, and their productivity is 5 or 10 times higher than of terrestrial plants. They can be used for wastewater treatment and phosphorus from water, in which case blooms of cyanobacteria, you can see them on the slides. And the cultivator algal biomass is used to make biofuels, filtration, and animal feeds. This is a great form of life, can help us to find the way of sustainable development of the human being. About my own research, I found in Donbass new type of this microalgae that can be used for the soil reforestation and activity of all ecosystem process. Now I make my experiments here in Arctic zone, and if you have the same problem of landscape degradation in Mavriki, I can even try to make this research together with you. Reclamation is a set of measures aimed at restoring the productivity and the economic value of disturbed lands, as well as improving environmental condition. Reclamation includes two main stages, technical and biological. Technical is leveled, topsoil is brought in, drainage is installed to remove excess water. This prepares the site for plants to grow in. And biological stage, the grasses, shrubs or trees are planted here, and we're trying to recultivate this zone. And this is one of the most effective but very long-term used the type of reclamation of described lands. So let's go about mammoths. When we talk about nature restoration, it's important to understand that the normal has constantly changed. Stretching from the British Isles across all of Eastern Europe and Siberia to Alaska was the mammoth steppe or tundra steppe. This was a unique landscape. Imagine vast plains covered with tall, nutritious grass. The climate there was cold and dry, but the soils were fertile. The grass could support huge herds of animals, mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, bisons, moccasins, wild horses, saigak antelopes. It was giant pasture where the grasses grew so fast it was never overgrazed. It looked like African savanna, but in the north. The mammoth steppe fed not only animals but also people. Tribes of prehistoric human hunting and the life against herbs for thousands of years here. But around 10-12,000 years ago, this world began to disappear. The climate became warmer and wetter. The fertile steppes began to overgrow with forest and shrubs and become swamps. Instead of the lush grasses, mosses and sparse bushes appeared. Thus the modern tundra was born, and along with the steppe, its inhabitants began to disappear. When we think about mammoths, it seems like deep antiquely, but this is not the case at all. On the Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean, dwarf, very small mammoths, not higher than the modern horses, survived until 2,000 years before the Christ. To put it in perspective, by that time the pyramids of Giza had already been built in Egypt, and Stonehenge was being erected in England. That means mammoths were the contemporaries of the ancient Egyptians and the builders of the first megaliths in England. The disappearance of the mammoth steppe and its megafauna is a process that interests with the history of human civilization, and now scientists are trying to understand, can we reverse this process or it's just gone? So about mammoth extinct. It's have a different position about this, but we think that it's complex of it. Climate and landscape change was only of the likely causes of the extinction. They were about the same height as African elephants, but looked different. Their body were covered with a thick reddish hair, their ears were smaller, and they had a thick layer of the fat under their skin. Mammoth tusks covered in the spiral and reached 4 or 5 meters in the land. They use them to clear snow to reach the grass. Other factors scientists cite of the extinction include mineral starvation. When our colleagues from Mammoth Effect Fund make this research, they found that more than half of the animals suffered from skeletal diseases. Tooth analysis revealed the records the level of nitrogen isotopes, a thing that the body was expressing, and actual mineral deficiency. Or the last reason is maybe humans. All at major mammoth bone accumulation, archaeologists find stone tools and traces of settlements. People actively hunted mammoth. It is unlikely that hunting was the cause of extinction, but it could have finished off populations that were already surfacing from the hunger and climate change. Studying mammoths is extremely important because it is key to understanding the condition of the extinct and restoring ecosystem. So how were mammoths studied? First of all, Kunstkamera, as the first Russian museum, began receiving all sorts of curiosities, including mammoths, bones and tusks found in Siberia. Later, the Kunstkamera collection were transferred to the Zoological Museum, eventually in St. Petersburg. It still holds unique exhibits, a complete mammoth skeleton and the world only suffered adult mammoth. Actually, we make research on frozen baby mammoths. The most valuable thing for scientists is not bones, but whole carcasses, and that lays the permafrost for thousands of years, preserving for soft tissue, hair, and even organs, and the something which inside of stomach, for example. Actually, the mammoths yucca, called from Yakutia, place where it was found in 2010. Scientists managed to extract well-preserved DNA. Yucca is now stored in Yakutsk, and it's constantly being studied. Baby mammoth Yana actually was discovered in the summer 2024 in the Batagai crater. The baby mammoth has intact trunk, lips, ears, eye, internal organs, and even stomach contents. Yana is now being studied by scientists from different countries, which could provide new information about mammoth living condition. And baby mammoth Luba, one of the most famous in the world, found in Yamal Peninsula in 2007. It's preserved always internally. And in 2019, another important structure, our colleagues, the Mammoth Effect Foundation. This is a non-profit organization that unites scientists and beneficiaries. The foundation helped organize expedition, study found specimens, and educate people about mammoths. And I just called with them yesterday for prepare for this lecture, and they tell me that they found one more very good condition of mammoth, and which have a good prognosis to extract well-preserved DNA from it. Expedition will be in this summer, so we hope that in this time we have good chance to extract very good preserved DNA. So we will cross fingers for our colleagues, and maybe in this year we will make small scientific revolution of mammoth's DNA. The next project, very interesting, is the Pleistocene Park. This is unique scientific experiment has been running in northeast Yakutia for over 30 years. The project idea, the disappear of the mammoth steppe, might have been caused not so much by climate change, but by the disappearance of the large animals themselves. They were the engineers of the ecosystem, trampling the soil, fertilizing it, and prevent the steppe from overgrowing with shrubs. Bison, Yakutia horses, camels, reindeers. It's about more than 150 different big animals have been introduced into the park. The animal grass in fenced area, and scientists observe the change. Why is this important? For the climate. Animals trample the snow, compacted snow including the ground and less. allowed cold to penetrate deeper into the ears and preserve the permafrost. Thus, the study of mammoth showed that when mammoths disappeared, the steppe turned into the sparse tundra and now to the forest tundra. But this also works in reverse, how we see in Pleistocene Park. If large animals are brought back, the landscapes can be restored. And this is actually one of the projects where our university take participation. And attempts at the extinction of the mammoth, and the plan is to identify the key of mammoth genes responsible for adaptation to the cold climates, and they set them into genome of the Asian elephant. The two species are so closely related that if mammoth were alive today, they could successfully interbreed with elephants. This approach would solve two problems: protection to endangered Asian elephant by expanding their range, and restoration of ancient pasture in the Arctic through the ecosystem impact of large herbivores, similar that we can see in Pleistocene Park in Yakutia. Studying mammoths is a challenge that drives fundamental scientific and technological research in the field of ecosystem restoration. This is the main road for us for paleoecology, DNA research, and other very unique and much research ways. So the extinct is always our fall. Mammoth is not just one of this type, which we can say that we have the role here. A stellar sea cow, it's a huge marine mammal resembling a seal, but weighing up to 5 tons. It's lived near Commodore Island. It's a small island group in Russia. They were discovered in 1741, and within 27 years it was completely exterminated. The animal was just eaten by human, which discovered. Passenger pigeon is a very sad story. About 19th century, the billions of these birds lived in the North America. By 1913, the last pigeon died in the zoo. They was object of actually hunting, and this was a very sad story. And even the more giant flightless bird of New Zealand, largest reaching up of 3 and 5 meters in the height, and Maori hunted them to extinction with about 1 or 200 years. But all these animals take their own role in the ecosystem, even like mammoth use their role in the ecosystem of mammoth steppes. All these birds are actually taking their important role, and we will lose them in the ecosystem. We start the process of losing ecosystem. Even about stellar sea cow, they keep a forest of algae alive because they eat algae, and it's make kind of the same way like mammoth it's in mammoth steppes. Without them, the algae forest start degrade. So about the dodo, I'm sure that you know much more about this than me, but it's for me it's one of the saddest story when I hear when I was a child, and just 40. It's very sad story, and in the 17th century, several live dodo reached India. They were brought as gifts of Mughal Empire, Padishah of Janair, and working as a card, we make this history about this painting, which we can see here. So, but I most want to talk about with you about the role of dodo in the ecosystems. Their story is almost 300 years after disappears. In 1973, scientific noticed a strange thing. The Mauritius, there were old trees on the species from the north as Calvaria major, but it's no more young trees, and the trees produce nuts, but they wouldn't germinate. Only about of a dozen and a half specimens were counted across this entry alice, all over the 300 years old. And American ecologist Stanley Temple linked it to the dodo extinction, and he hypothesized that these nuts have shell too hard to germinate without first passing through a bird's stomach. Dodos swallow stones, gastroliths, that ground their food and also broke down the shell. In ecologies, it's called ecosystem engineer, the same like we see with mammoths, with stellar cow, and the hare. Now we see the term that's called ghost of vanished species, or ecosystem engineering legacy effects. The ecosystem continue to remember the animals through disrupted process, even the species itself is gone. The dodo was a key link in forest reproduction, and its extinction endangers the whole range of plants. And how you may know, to save these trees, scientific proposed using the giant tortoises from the Aladora atoll. Experiments confirmed that seeds through these stomachs germinate exactly. And if we take the parallel with concept of ecological replacement, project for the extinction of the dodo using the genetic technology are also developing. The American biotechnology company, which specializes in species extinction, announcing plans to return the dodo to its natural habitat. Thus, the dodo story played an important role in the development of conservation awareness. It was the first time science realized that the humans could completely exterminate a species in the very, very short time. So, about another project which I'm taking participant is the introduction of the European bison. It's not all bad. Sometimes we can fix our mistakes, and I think the European bison is one of the great mistake which we can fix. The European bison species, it's about 100 years ago, was on the brink of total extinction. The last wild bison died in Caucasus in 1926. None remained in the wild. A few dozen individuals just lives in the zoo in Europe. But in 1922, complex restoration work began its start. Bison were gathered from zoos around the world, bred its nursery, and gradually returned to the forest. Today, most bison live in reserve in Poland, Belarus, Russia, but almost of these territories are surrounded by human development. And it's difficult because they need big spaces for living. And we see that in the north of Russia, in the places where people, villages is not more available, we can see a group of bison. This is the Bolshaya village in Arkhangelsk region, and like in prehistoric time, it's groups of bison that's living here, and it's great to see. And there's another interesting story. It's happened in Vologda region. Now it's about 200 individuals which live here in the fields, and it's great. So even if you will be in Russia, I think it's great to see these big animals. So I want to make small conclusion. The presented case is the mammoth and mammoth fauna, the dodo on Maurits, the introduction of bison in Europe. It's demonstrate a fundamental pattern. Large animals act as ecosystem engineers. They presents determine the structure of landscapes, vegetation composition, soil formation process, and climate parameters of territories, while the loss of key species triggers cascading changes that last for centuries. Modern conservation activities are moving from passive to preservation to active ecosystem management. The development of The development of comprehensive strategies is required, including monitor climate change and its impact on ecosystem, restoring distribution landscapes, and reintroduction key species like bison, for example. Climate change, landscape change a living condition for animals, and humans are now the main forces behind these changes, but they can also become the main force for restoration. Thank you very much for your attention.
So I put the floor to video or an interactive session with the Yomanov. If you have any question related to climate change, ecosystem, the do anything you like to opportunity for you.
We don't have any DNA on our do because I believe that the exact part of our do, like you comparing it with a big pigeon. Yes, Professor, can you hear us?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
So now can you hear us? No speaker opinion, not? Can you hear us now?
Yes, now here. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the question is from one of our attendees here is, do we have a DNA of the dodo?
No, we don't. We are working, we are trying to find good DNA of the mammals, but we don't have DNA of the dodo.
Yeah, we don't have a complete sequence.
Now we are, as I said, the mammoth researchers and researchers of mammoth DNA is good case for us how to exact DNA from different type of biological materials with different type of condition of their safety. Now we are trying to extend DNA from different type of mammoth case using the modern method of it, but it's different because mammoth mostly we found bones or we found frozen part of mammoth. It's because of climate change now. It's warmer, and with the rains, the bones is moving from the ground. But the mostly big part of mammoths or wall mammoths, which we can found the good samples of DNA material there deeply in ice cover. And all expeditions, which are very extremely hard to found this type of way, they're going to the extremely north altitudes. When we will found the way how to extend DNA from the bone in the good or bad condition, I think this method could be used in other extinct species, especially for the dodo, for example.
Yes, thank you. Does that answer the question? Problem is with the hybrid, will it be able to survive in the prevailing conditions, climate change? We are thinking about bringing data to restore our ecosystem, which is very within reach. But are we also exploring the effects of introducing hybrid data, the impacts on the ecosystem, negative, maybe improvement? Did you hear the question?
Yes, I hear, but waiting that.
Okay, so the question is that we are trying to de-extinct the dodo, and when we get that dodo, is it going to be able to thrive in that ecosystem that we have now? And the impact of reintroducing like the hybrid, because it's going to be hybrid, it's not a natural dodo.
Yes, yes.
And it also joins my personal question. If before you answer that one, you could really explain in very simple terms, because we have teachers and students here, what is de-extinction? Like what it is, very simply, that we can tell to a young.
Okay, so I will try to make it in simple way. The main point is this is not exactly will be this type of species. We do the same with very simple the type of life. We can do it with some type of plants. We can do it with some type of bacteria. But even this is not exactly like print another extinct species from good DNA from the dead one. But in modern science case, we need to understand that it's evenly will be the hybrid of some close species and with our DNA information, which we can extend from some part of extinct animal. After extinction left sometimes it 50, 60, 70, 100 years, sometimes it's centuries, sometimes it's 1,000 years, and then the bigger this time left, it's the most question is it will be available to involve them in the ecosystem again. Mainly we think, and the bison is a good type of work about bison in Europe, that we should found the same ecosystem engineers before it to restart the ecosystem works like it should be. Evenly in the parallel we should work with DNA research to extinction. As I said, we don't need the mammoth right now to survive the humanity, but researchers of mammoth will help us to survive, will help us to understand better molecular biology, paleoecology, landscape ecology, and reforestation and reclimatization types of work. So if we're talking about again engineering and reintroducing, for example, of Dodo, let's imagine that tomorrow we did it. We have enough big population of Dodo which could keep their population level by themselves. But we need to understand that the reasons of their extinct should be actually cleared. We should fix all new type of predators. We should fix all new type of pollution in the air, in the air atmosphere, in the soil, in the water. It's great work. It's not just to print this Dodo again. It's about ecosystem engineering, and it's very long and hard work. I think I answered to your question.
We have more question? Maybe say. Yes. Question from. We have one question here.
Then you think further what human beings, the future. Those were people that centuries ago or brings them back.
So still like. Okay, so did you hear the question?
No, I will be, thank you if you repeat.
Okay, so the question was that if you are able to de-extinct other species like the dodo or mammoth and all these species. So the question that we are asking then, can we de-extinct human beings, like maybe not the Homo sapiens, but the other Homo something that existed before?
In the case of mammoths, we can see that complex condition of our Earth is moving to extinction. But extinction of the mammoth was not just in one day they left our planet. They are extinct by the thousand years. They moving northern to this Bering Islands, and there they died last mammoth about 2000 years ago. It's not so far, how you can see. Evenly for the most type of species which not hunted by new type of predators, new type of diseases, exactly some catastrophic activities of the landscape like tsunami or volcano, they extinct the 100 and 1000 years. And evenly everything can changing. And my main specialization in the university was biogeography. In biogeography we have the terms relict areas or paleo areas. It means that sometime before this species living all around the world, but now we can see just small refugium on this island or on this mountain where we can see this type of species. It's called relict species. And it's actually a normal way of life. Some species can relict, but there was no type of species like human before. No type of species changes our planet so fast and so hard like we are. And our future are only in our own will.
Hello against more science. What you're for our youth is very important for the extinction. extinction process around the world. Thank you.
Yes, did you hear the question?
Repeat, please.
So the question is, what are the career prospects in the field of, like we're talking about de-extinction, but it's mostly about genetic engineering. So what are the different careers, opportunities for our students? And roughly an estimate, how many people are working in the sector? Maybe in Russia or in the world, just an estimate. If funding for this kind of research.
In Russia, all this type of research is main the way of our scientific strategy is about human being, ecosystem engineering, and it's thousands of scientists in the hundreds of institutes all over the Russian Federation. For example, I work in Murmansk Arctic University, and even we are in the deeper Arctic region have molecular biology works and microbiology specialists which working with DNA. Great work make the scientists in Yakutia. They are in the frontier of mammoths DNA engineering research. Great work make people all over the Russia, and how I can say it, it's thousand scientists. And we introduce you to contact us about your own terms of research. Now in Russia is we have decade of science, and in this decade all our government work try to help science make the step forward. It's great work with universities, with research institutes, with even with scholars, from popularizing science in the citizens until the unique scientific research way and building unique scientific infrastructure. In the world, we can see the two way. Unfortunately, not all over like in Russia, science is a government way of life. The big sector is in commercial way. That means that if you have money for your research, you make it. If you don't, you don't. In Russia, we have a government task to make the researches for all humanity. And I don't know about how many people work on it all over the world. I know just several the main scientists which make this research. But in Russia, we welcome you and introduce you to work together, even in this problem of extinction, DNA extraction, and reintroduction of species.
Answers the question.
Now, this question, if you can bring back the what about damage?
Yes, Professor, I think the creativity and the questions are increasing and people are getting to think. So if we can bring back the dodo, what about the dinosaurs?
With dinosaurs, it's will be a little bit harder because we don't have biological material of dinosaurs. About dinosaurs, we have mainly geological material about fossils, when the bones was changed by a rock. And if we're talking about dodo or mammoth or telocene or more, we can find the biological material. But it's very hard to find now the DNA of dinosaur. And even you found, like in Jurassic Park, the mosquito which drinks the blood of dinosaur and was conserved in some type of material. It's evenly extremely hard to get out the whole safety DNA. Why we are so successful with mammoth? Because of ice. because it's like put something in the refrigerator. It will be safety there, but the dinosaurs moving after at least 115 billion years. Evenly how we imagine them, it's just our hypothesis. And that's why I think it will be not in our etap of scientific possibilities.
The point of view from the scientific answer to the question, and I think it answers
If I was supposed to if there was an obligation effect, like if there will be over amigos, something to say food, we say be able to go to safely, or we say that food, and be able to take on.
other animals.
Like, we say be able to coexist because some amigos will eat same food as available, we say be less, we say less food.
Yes, so when the dodo will be reintroduced in the ecosystem, will it be able to coexist with other species that are already that ecosystem? How do we plan to make it happen?
So if we talking about dodo, theoretically, we need to understand that we need reproduce not just one or two or three dodo bird. We need to reproduce not least the hundreds of them. So we need to understand if they have enough food, enough water resources, and other. After the 100 years of extinction of the dodo, we understand that it's become new species which was introduced by human, even the domestic animals, even the diseases which they have between birds evenly. So first of all, we need to understand, is it acceptable to survive even this small population? So if we talking about reintroduction of this animal, we need to understand the first way it will be kind of nature reserve or kind of closely to zoo. It's a very small area which we will try to make this experiment. It have possibility to leave them in the nature. We will not even when we work on the Pleistocene Park in Yakutia, we not just let these animals in the nature just go in and make steppe great again. We just fix them in the small area and try to understand how this experiment works. Evenly, if tomorrow we have the big population of dodo, the main dangers is not the dodo for the modern animals, it's the modern ecosystem for the dodo more danger.
To just sum up. Do we have more questions?
Yes, so my question was, when they will be reintroduced, what are the chances that the impact, for example, for a virus to be during the genetic changes?
So that maybe the his work, what are the chances of getting new virus being created or produced in that whole process?
I'm so sorry, could you repeat please again?
So while the dodo is being reintroduced, while we are in the process of re-engineering and creating the dodo again, what are the chances that we can have a new virus being created or produced?
It's extremely low because when we made this type of hybrid, which closely look like dodo, which are use the same ecosystem role, they are kind of sterile type of animal. And as I said before, the more danger for them because they will not have this type of immunity which they should be for the modern diseases, modern illness is their own safety. So the most problem is when we see the how ice covering is getting out of Arctic. We have the problem that some diseases which are the stems living deeper in the land can get in to the air again, and that's why we take big attention to the new type of viruses which can introduced from the past. But when we're talking about the dodo re-extinction, reintroduction, we need to understand that our main role is to save the species which are actually living here, living now. It's our work to don't make exist other animals which are now living. We should focus on this work in the main task. And how I said with the mammoth and the dodo, our scientific, it's like a big idea, big task to re-extinct some type of species. And it will move science forward for understanding how we can fix something if we broke something again. Thank you.
So if you have more questions? Question? Good. Professor, teachers? Professor, while listening to the questions and comments that we have been receiving from the audience, I just want to express like that idea of de-extinction of the dodo, like for Mauritius, we are more connected to the dodo. It is raising a lot of concern and questions among the population, students, educators. So in the mind of the public, it's like, oh yes, we will be having a dodo walking around just like we have pink pigeons walking around or birds walking around. But while communicating that, I think probably we should elaborate more on the process of genetic engineering that is happening to get to that end goal or that objective, that dream that we have. All the spin-off that we have in genetic engineering, like, I don't know, RNA research, all these kind of, whatever you do in the lab, and what are the benefits that we can derive from that to create other, like in technology, in genetic engineering and technology. And now for the ethical concerns, I think maybe we should have more discussion about that. So are the dodos going to walk around? Can they interact with other species? Are they going to scare us? Are we going to go in and have big queries? Yes. Yes.
So, I agree with you with your point. I think it's very big work of science community, and we should most talking about which another points and other benefits of this research. We make more scientific work about gene engineering, about molecular biology, about paleoecology. We make more research about nature conservation, about modern ecosystem sustainability. And all this work, even if we will not even re-exit the Dodo, all these tasks are good to do it. But the main point is actually the ethical. We shouldn't think that it's like with life on Mars. Some people think that we can have the second chance. We will live on Mars, so we can make the better way the life on the Mars, and our space program is our second chance. But we don't have another planet for this, and we will and we should keep our planet safe for our generation, for next generations, and for all nature and for all ecosystem. But when we talk about the species, it can be big, interesting species like big animals like wolves or rhino or elephants, or it can be small species like insects, like plants, or evenly like microalgae. We don't have the second them, so we should keep them safe. And the main ethical problem about the over-extinction the species, that we can do anything with nature now, but in the future we think that we can re-extinct some species. No, we should do not make species extinct. Talking about the door, it's big way. It's a big task of scientific, engineering, ecosystem ecology, and other. Evenly that today the scientists from Mauriki, our diplomates, students, and me from Murmansk make this dialogue is a main ethical task that we think that this should be talking about. And I think that it's a good point.
Great, thank you. Very brilliant takeaway message and room for reflection when we go back to the classroom. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, so we have it. Dr. Yumano for your enlightening and inspiring presentation. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to the second part of today's program, the unveiling of the exhibition inspired by the renowned painting Dudu by Ustad Mansour. The exhibition features 20 stands centered on what is believed to be the only known painting in the world created from direct observation of a living Dudu. This masterpiece was painted in the early 17th century by the Indian artist Ustad Mansour. It was taken during the Persian invasion of India in the 18th century, later acquired by Russian diplomats for the personal collection of Tsar Nicholas II in the 20th century, and is now preserved at the Institute of Oriental Manuscript in St. Petersburg, Russia. I'll now invite you to watch a short video introducing the exhibition.